These 3 drinks remove fat from your liver, plus accelerate fat loss. Very simple drinks on a daily basis, incredibly powerful at helping out the hardest working organ and melting fat away. It is so simple what you're about to see that can so easily get into your regimen and make a massive, massive difference. Let's dive into it. Talking liver, hardest working organ in the body. It filters out 250 gallons of blood every day, and it's charged with removing toxins from the body, cleanse the body, detoxing it from the chemicals that we eat, from the chemicals we put on our skin, to the ones that we breathe in and use in our house. The liver is the sneaky, one of the main areas that the body stores fat. So how can we go about helping this process to regenerate, to reverse, to avoid the toxins in the body, and ultimately melt away, burn away fat? 3 drinks get this done. Number 1, crazy simple, hugely underrated. One thing you could add to it to make it even more effective. Water. Gotta get enough water in. We need clean sources of water. Too many people drinking tap water. Too many people drinking water out of water bottles. Microchemicals are in there. You can't see them, but those are all ending up in your body. And guess who has to deal with that? The liver. I mean, the liver's not working. Are you burning fat? Nope. You're storing it. So with the bombardment of chemicals, that's what we need to pay attention to, is just clean water. Now, enough of it. When you're dehydrated, the liver can't function the way that it's supposed to. We don't have proper circulation. When that blood volume is less and there's less liquidity in there to deal with, it can't do its job very well. So water, adding in from a clean filtered source. Number 1 main mechanism of water, you're going to feel more full. Half your body weight in ounces is a great place to start. It's not the end all be all for every single person, but if you weigh 150 pounds, try drinking 75 ounces of water a day to get started. Now, you might not stay that way forever. You kind of got to listen to your body, but I think a lot of us aren't drinking enough. That's going to help you feel more full, which means you eat less. And if we can control overeating, that means less fat in the liver. Now, drinking cooler water could be an advantage for you. On the cooler side, it activates fat burning because the body has to spend energy to heat the water up. So there could be up to a 30% increase in fat burning just by getting enough water into the system and having it be a little bit cooler. Takes energy to warm it up. You want to burn off that excess energy, not have it stored in your liver. Now, to really help enhance you drinking more and help your liver, add lemon to it. Lemon is fantastic at 1, helping you maybe drink a little bit more because it gives just a little bit of flavor into that water, but it's fighting that dehydration because it's really going to start to crank up antioxidants in the body. That citrus fruit is loaded with antioxidants, which the liver loves, protecting the hardest working organ in your body with antioxidants. It actually helps restore and reverse liver damage. Number 2, it helps increase bile flow and bile production, which is going to break down fat in your body. When you're breaking it down, you can get rid of it, you're not storing. Number 3, what lemon in the water does, it supports a normal inflammatory response, which is achiness and pains in the joint because the liver is calming down. It's one of the main drivers of that inflammation that you're feeling. Number 4, it balances your pH. When you're way more acidic, you're more prone to having a lot of uric acid type flare-ups, achy joints, stones building up in your body, whether it's in your gall or in your kidneys. We want that balance of pH, which is a state where your body can thrive more alkaline. Number 5, it helps support healthy liver enzymes, which are breaking down all those toxins in your body. So I love lemon for that perspective. And then number 6, it helps to break down the calcification. So if we do have an imbalance of microbes, frequent UTIs, kidney stones, putting a lot of lemon in there is a way to start to counteract, to break some of that down. So water, increase it. Half your body weight in ounces, add lemon. Your liver and your digestive tract love it. Let's go to drink number 2, coffee. This is my favorite. That drink of a clean coffee, not one filled with pesticides or herbicides, organic coffee, ideally shade grown, so it gets a lot more of the nutrients and the benefit. It is stimulating thermogenesis. That is the burning of fat in your body. It's literally been shown to do this. It fires up excess fat burning. Now, what does it is chlorogenic acid. And this has been shown in studies that when people drink 4 cups or more of coffee a day, they have less body fat. In fact, there's a study out of the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition, and I really like this one because they were just looking at the performance of some athletes. They're going to have them work out in the morning, work out in the afternoon. They get one group coffee for those times, and they wanted to test it in different times a day to see if that was messing with it. And then the other ones, they just gave a placebo. It was a triple blind study, actually, they ended up doing. And they ingested this caffeine and ingested this coffee, okay? And they found that it increased maximal fat oxidation. What is that to you? Fat burning mode. Independent of the time of day. No matter if they did it in the morning, if they did it in the afternoon, it increased that. Now, taking it in the afternoon might interrupt your sleep, so I like to take mine in the morning, but it is thermogenic and it stimulates fat burning inside of your body. And the main place we want it to stimulate is in the liver. Now, coffee also will help to empty that digestive tract. So if you are feeling a bit more stuffed up, the filters aren't working as well, this will help to stimulate that gallbladder, the contraction of it, the breaking down of fats. It'll empty the stomach and have a nice bowel movement, especially early in the day. And it's almost one of those ghost poop bowel movements. And that just means that when you wipe, there's nothing to wipe because it helps to stimulate the gallbladder, or if you don't have one, right, the bile, to break the fat down, to exit it out the system and empty the stomach, and to move that food along really nicely so you're not straining to get it out. And then there's less pressure on the liver in order to help to detoxify you. Coffee, that's probably my favorite. Careful what you put in it. If you are going to do any kind of cream, it better be organic. We want to make sure that there's pesticide-free, herbicide-free. You can add in collagen to make collagen coffee. I even put a little bit of butter and coconut oil, some healthy fats in there to stimulate fat burning mode, not spike sugar burning mode, which is fat storage mode. And you can blend it up and it's kind of like a latte. It's fantastic. The third drink to help stimulate fat loss and aid your liver is green tea. So for non-coffee drinkers, okay, getting plenty of water in for all of us, gonna have some coffee, don't like coffee, try going to green tea. The extract of green tea has properties that activate fat burning mode in the body through brown fat, which burns up the toxic white fat, which is oftentimes some fat that's around our organs that can be really dangerous, especially the liver. When the liver is expanding and getting 3 times bigger, it is that white fat in there that is building up. Green tea activates brown fat that stimulates the degradation and the burning up of that white fat. So it burns up fat stores. So green tea, using the extract in a supplement form does work to help support healthy fat burning levels, or drink some green tea. Careful what you put in it. If you're putting in some of the dairy, you can emulsify the polyphenols that are inside the green tea. And so it's probably a little bit better to have it just by itself if you could do that, or maybe just a little bit of honey in there if you need a little bit of sweetness, but you're adding and introducing sugar at that point. So the more you can have it straight up, the better the benefits are going to be for it. Those 3 drinks help out your liver. Now, when we compare that with cutting out the crap that you're eating, a simple meal plan with these drinks can eliminate 43% or more of the fat in your liver in 2 weeks. Believe it or not, just 1 cup a day of this easy 60-second drink can help you lose up to 4 pounds, reduce bloating, detox your liver, and just start feeling better in as little as 10 days. It's made with ingredients you probably already have, costs next to nothing, and takes almost no effort to make. No pills, no powders, no overpriced programs. Just a simple, affordable habit that gets your body working the way it's supposed to fast. I'm gonna break this drink down into 3 ingredients that target the 3 biggest blocks that keep your body from feeling better and burning fat. We're gonna call them the 3 Ds. Dropping weight by supporting insulin and your metabolism, de-bloating by helping digestion and move and reduce the amount of gas and the pressure that's built up in the system, and detoxing by giving your liver what it needs to clean out and reset and activate fat burning mode. This drink is designed to get those systems moving again, and it starts with the first ingredient, kicking off the first D of dropping weight by targeting the hormone that controls fat storage in the first place. That hormone is insulin. Insulin is what your body uses to handle sugar. Every time you eat, especially something with carbs or sugars inside of it, your insulin goes up. And when insulin stays up, it stays high, your body gets stuck in fat storage mode. When insulin is down, you activate fat burning mode. So if it's up, your body holds on to fat instead of burning it up. And that's why the first ingredient in this drink is all about bringing those levels back down. And that ingredient is apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar has been shown to lower insulin levels and reduce blood sugar spikes, especially after meals. In one study, people who added just 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar a day lost up to 4 pounds in 12 weeks, and they didn't change anything else. And that's not all that ACV does. It also helps you feel full faster, so then you naturally eat less. Plus, it supports your liver and your digestion. So when it comes to dropping weight, especially that stubborn belly fat, apple cider vinegar is one of the best tools that we've got. Next up is the second D, de-bloating. If you ever felt like your belly starts the day flat, but then by afternoon, it's tight, it's swollen, it's full of pressure, that's a sign that your digestive system isn't working the way that it should. Most people blame that on what they eat. But bloating isn't just about the food, it's about how long it's in your body. Your stomach acid is too low, or your gut's moving too slowly, that food starts to ferment, and that creates gas, which then creates pressure. and then your belly starts to feel like a balloon. So how do you fix this? You got to speed up the digestion in a healthy way. One of the easiest ways to do that is with something you probably already have in your kitchen: baking soda. That's right. Half a teaspoon mixed into this drink can actually help to neutralize excess stomach acid, ease trapped gas, relieve pressure quickly, often in minutes. And it's a natural antacid that works with your body instead of against it. The two balance each other out. And when they're mixed, you get the fizz, you get the flow of your digestive system, and you get the relief without the crash. But, and this is important, more is not always better. A little baking soda goes a long way. Stick to the right dose, which I'll explain in just a moment, and you'll feel the difference, not only in your digestive system, but in your whole body. Finally, we've got third D, detox. This is all about your liver. Your liver is your body's built-in filtration system. It's the hardest working organ in your body. Clears out all the toxins you come in contact with. It breaks down fat, and it decides what stays and what gets eliminated. Here's the problem. Most people's liver are completely overloaded and way overworked. Years of processed food, sugars, medications, alcohol, chemical exposure. It all has to go through the liver. And when that system gets backed up, your whole body slows down and takes a hit. That's why the third ingredient in this drink is designed to clear that blockage, support that liver, and get it flowing normally again. And that ingredient is fresh lemon juice. Lemons are rich in vitamin C and a lot of natural plant compounds and antioxidants. These help to boost bile flow, which is helping your liver do its job, breaking down fats in the body, moving the waste out of the digestive system. In fact, in one study, lemon juice was shown to lower liver fat, improve liver enzymes, and reduce oxidative stress in animals that already had liver damage. That means better filtration, less inflammation, a better inflammatory response in the body, and a stronger, more efficient fat-burning system overall. So when we add lemon juice to this drink, we're helping your liver clean house. That way it can process fat, clear out toxins, and finally let your metabolism work again. All right, now let's take our three ingredients and then put them all together into one powerful daily drink. I'm going to start with about 10 ounces of filtered water, room temp, or you can have it cold. Whatever's easier on your stomach in the morning. Add 1 tablespoon of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar. This supports insulin, helps supports healthy blood sugar levels, helps support fat burning. Next, we're going to squeeze in the juice from a half a lemon. If you have to do lemon juice, go ahead. But ideally a fresh lemon, half of one, squeeze it in. It's about 1, maybe 2 tablespoons of juice that's going to go in. Fresh lemon gives the best taste, but it also delivers the most detoxing benefits. Then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Now it's going to fizz. Just let it settle for a few seconds and then gently stir. Now, you can take this straight up. The fizz is going to have almost a sparkling water type feel to it. If you need it sweeter, more palatable, you could use some drops of stevia or drops of monk fruit. If you need to just kind of sweeten it up a little bit to nudge it more towards more of a lemonade flavor. And I like stevia, I like monk fruit because they typically don't give too much of a hit to your blood sugar levels. That's it. One drink, 3 ingredients. Covers all 3 Ds: dropping weight, de-bloating, detoxing. Now, best time to drink it once a day, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Kind of gets that system going early, flushing that liver out, stimulating the gall and the bile, breaking down fats, detoxification from the night before. Inflammation settles in the joint, so that baking soda is going to be really good on those. And so using it in the morning is my favorite, or 20 minutes before your biggest meal if mornings don't work for you, so that you can get extra benefit with digestion and not have the bloat afterwards. Here's what to expect. Day 1 might feel a little lighter, a little less bloat. Might notice some differences within the hour of having this. By day 7 to 10, most people drop 2 to 4 pounds. They notice fewer cravings. And by week 4 of using this, you might see smaller waistlines, more regular digestion, better energy because there's less of an inflammatory response in your body. And some people even noting some improvements in their blood sugar levels. Keep it simple. Follow the recipe. Stay consistent. And that's when you get the results. When's the best time to take apple cider vinegar if you're trying to burn fat? Take it at the right time, and you can flatten your blood sugar crush your cravings, turn on your body's fat burning switch. Take it at the wrong time, might not get the results that you're looking for, even if you're doing everything else right. So I'm going to show you when it actually works, the scientific proven dose that you should be taking, and then the most common mistakes that people make that sabotage their fat loss. Now let's start with the most popular time. People take apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning, and there's a reason for that. Your body is in a fasted state when you wake up. That means insulin's really low because you haven't eaten for several hours, and fat burning mode is on. And that's the exact environment where apple cider vinegar works best. Because one of the main things ACV does is activate a natural enzyme in your body called AMPK, short for AMP, activated protein kinase. It's a natural enzyme inside your cells. It tells your body to use stored fat for energy. Don't keep storing it. Use what you already have. Don't go looking for more sugar. You can think of it like this. High insulin tells your body to store fat. AMPK tells your body to burn it. So when you're in a fasted state, AMPK is already active. Apple cider vinegar just amplifies the signal. So you get into fat burning mode faster, and then you stay there for longer into the day. So here's how to take it if you're using the morning strategy. Take 1 tablespoon of it, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, or you could do 3 of my capsules. I have an organic apple cider vinegar if you don't like the liquid form. Dilute the liquid though if you are taking it in 8 ounces of water, or just swallow the capsules with 8 ounces of water. Take it on an empty stomach first thing before your meal or before you're having anything else during the day. If your body tolerates it well, you can even go up to 2 tablespoons a day or 6 capsules per day total. But there's not much benefit going beyond 2 tablespoons. And here's the proof that a single tablespoon is powerful. In a 12-week clinical study out of Lebanon, participants who took just 1 tablespoon each morning lost an average of 6 to 8 pounds without changing their diet. Some lost as much as 15. And they also saw drops in waist size, triglycerides, and blood sugar, all without changing anything else about their diet. So yes, just 1 tablespoon taken at the right time can absolutely help you burn more fat. But this timing doesn't work for everyone. If you're insulin resistant, if you have a lot of acid reflux, if your blood sugar is still elevated from the night before, or if you get kind of lightheaded or nauseous, just taking it all in a fasted state on an empty stomach, that's your body telling you that it might need a different approach. And that's totally fine, because morning isn't the only time that apple cider vinegar can help. And depending on how you eat, there may be an even better window. So one of the most overlooked strategies is using it before, between, or even after your meals. And the effects it can have on your metabolism might surprise you. So let's start with what happens when you take it right before your meals. When you eat, especially carbs like bread or pasta or rice or potatoes, your blood sugar goes up. That spike triggers a release of insulin, and that insulin tells your body to store fat. And when you take apple cider vinegar right before the meal, it flattens that spike, which means your insulin stays lower, and you're more likely to burn the sugar up and not store it as fat. In fact, some studies have shown that vinegar before a high carb meal can reduce the blood sugar spike by up to 55%. And there's more benefits to this. One of the biggest benefits of this timing window is what it does after the meal, because a lot of people experience something called rebound cravings. You eat, you're full, you feel full, and then like an hour later or 2 hours later, you're hungry again. ACV helps flatten that rebound effect. So then your body doesn't get stuck in that constant eat, crash, repeat cycle. Now, what about between meals? This is when apple cider vinegar really shines for an appetite suppressant, especially if your cravings hit really hard, like maybe late morning or mid-afternoon after lunch. Here's what's happening. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar gets broken down into something called acetate. Acetate sends a signal to your brain that says, I'm satisfied. I don't need to eat right now. It also plays a boosting role to GLP-1. That's the hormone that's popular in weight loss drugs like Ozempic. It helps copy that. It helps reduce appetite and promote fullness. And as a result, you experience fewer cravings and fewer blood sugar dips in between meals. Now, let's just say you're eating a really heavy meal, especially when it's high in fats or proteins or carbohydrates. It's just a big meal. You could take apple cider vinegar with the meal, like a capful of it, to support digestion and then help reduce that heavy bloating feeling that you might have after it. Think Thanksgiving dinner, take a little ACV before it. It helps your stomach produce more acid. It helps your liver release more bile to break fats down, and it helps improve nutrient absorption. And if you forget to take it at the right time, you can still take it after the meal, especially if you are feeling bloated or feeling sluggish. It's not quite as effective as if you take it before a meal, but you'll still get some of the digestive support and a smaller blood sugar spike because of it. Now, there's one more time of day that people use apple cider vinegar and it might help you, and most people don't even think about it, and that's taking it right before bed. At first glance, it probably sounds weird. You're not eating, you're not burning a bunch of energy. Why would you take apple cider vinegar right before you go to sleep? Well, it has everything to do with your blood sugar and what it's doing overnight. You see, here's the problem for a lot of people, especially those with insulin resistance. Blood sugar can go up in the middle of the night. Cortisol increases, blood sugar can go up along with it. And that is called the dawn effect. It happens when your liver starts dumping extra sugar into your bloodstream as a way to wake you up. And that spike in blood sugar triggers a spike in insulin. And high insulin shuts down fat burning mode. So here's where ACV helps. When you take it before bed, studies show it helps to flatten that overnight blood sugar surge, helps to lower fasting glucose the next morning. And in fact, in a clinical study with people with type 2 diabetes, 2 tablespoons of ACV before bed helped lower their morning blood sugar levels. And the effect was strongest in people with the highest starting levels. Now, why does this matter for fat loss? Because when insulin stays lower overnight, it opens the door for your body's most powerful fat-burning hormones, growth hormone. And growth hormone doesn't work well when insulin is high. So keeping insulin low while you sleep gives your system a chance to shift into a recovery mode where fat burning actually ramps up without you doing anything. And there's another benefit here too. If you are dealing with late night cravings, especially after dinner, taking ACV in between that time of your last meal and before bed can really help take that edge off. Now, that's partly because of a calming brain chemical called GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that can reduce anxious eating and then just make it easier to wind down. Now, should everyone take it at bedtime? Not necessarily. Some people with sensitive stomachs might find it a little bit too irritating late at night, especially if you're prone to a lot of reflux. But if bedtime works for your body and you deal with high morning blood sugar or stubborn belly fat or nighttime cravings, this might be the simplest and most effective timing window for you. Simply using 1 to 2 tablespoons or 3 to 6 capsules 30 to 60 minutes before bed, and ideally at least an hour after your last meal, after dinner. All it takes, 1 tablespoon, the right timing, a few minutes before bed, helps your body burn more fat while you sleep. Now, if there's one time of day that derails fat loss for most people, it's the evening. You're tired, your willpower's gone, and your hunger hormones, they're working against you. It's because GLP-1, your satiety hormone, it drops at night, which makes cravings feel a lot stronger and harder to resist. It's also when your body is more likely to store the extra food as belly fat, especially while you sleep. So if your goal is a flatter stomach, this is the first place to step in. And luckily, the fix is simple. Drinking chia water before bed. Simply use a teaspoon of chia seeds stirred into a glass of water. If you want to add a little flavor, you can add in maybe a dash of honey or maybe some monk fruit or a stevia or even like one of my collagen protein powders like the chocolate one. It's a good option as well. It could be stirred in. Then you let it sit up for about 10 to 15 minutes and it starts to gel. As the chia seeds expand, they can absorb 12 times more than their weight to expand and start to gel up. And then just drink it in the evening when you're having those cravings, close to bed, even as close as 30 minutes before bedtime. Now, what that chia gel does, it expands in your stomach and it helps to slow down digestion. That's what helps you feel full. It helps you feel satisfied right when your body needs it the most, right when you want that midnight snack, that post dinner, you're watching a show, whenever that hunger kicks in. If you want to turn up the appetite control, add in chia seeds. And if you want to do even a little more, you could add in a little cinnamon to your mixture. That's going to help stabilize blood sugar, helps insulin sensitivity, and it's also a natural booster to GLP-1. So these are the top 5 mistakes to avoid when using lemon water. First, a lot of people make their lemon water too weak. They put a few drops in a big glass. That's basically lemon flavored water. And your liver isn't getting any of the compounds that it actually needs to burn off fat or protect itself. The real power is in the pulp and the peel. That's where the compounds live that shield your liver cells from the damage the most. They help burn off fat stored inside of your liver, and then they switch on your detox pathways. So if you're not using enough lemon, or you're skipping the peel or the rinds kind of infused in your glass, you could be cutting yourself off from most of the benefits. Now, here's the other side of this mistake. More is not necessarily better, though. If you overdo it, using more than a lemon or two every day, or more than 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in a glass, and you're drinking it over and over again, that acid can kind of start to backfire in the body, maybe stomach irritation, bloating, reflux, even just affecting your teeth or the enamel, or a little headachy. So the sweet spot is about half to 1 full lemon, squeezed into at least 8 to 12 ounces of water. I typically use 16 ounces, and ideally you would use fresh lemons. If they tend to spoil on you, a pro tip is to store them in the fridge in a container or a glass container or jug in water. And they will keep 4 times as long than if you just have it sitting in the fridge or on the counter. If you only have access to lemon juice, no worries. There are still benefits. Adding 1 to 2 tablespoons to your 12 plus ounces of water will get the job done. Enjoy that. Stick to just 1 or 2 glasses of this mix per day. It's consistency over time that makes the difference, not chugging it more and more. Next, number 2, a lot of people make their lemon water and then they slam it down and then they just go on with their day thinking that they're getting all the benefits from it. But it does definitely still have benefits. But if you want to maximize the goodness of lemons, here's the truth. If you drink it right away, you're mostly just getting the taste. The compounds that actually help your liver, the vitamin C, the antioxidants, the oils from the peel and the rinds, need a little bit of time to infuse into the water. If you don't let that happen, your liver misses out on some of those protecting compounds that make lemon water worth drinking in the first place. So let your lemon water sit for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Do a couple other things once you got it ready. Let it infuse. It helps draw out more of those compounds. And if you've been using bottled lemon juice, just be sure that it's organic, but consider switching to actual lemons. There is a better benefit to them. Bottled juice is oftentimes pasteurized, and it can wipe out some of the vitamin C that's beneficial in lemons. And also be on the lookout for any kind of preservatives if you are using the juice. Just adds more stress and strain to your liver if you're putting those in there. Fresh lemons, though, give you those real compounds that your liver needs. But they maximize with their release into the water if you give them a little bit of time to soak. The next one, number 3, is one of the biggest reasons why people don't get the full benefits of lemon water. It really has nothing to do with how they make it. It's about when they drink it. If you sip it right before or during a meal, it can kind of dilute with the stomach acid, and your body's already working on digestion and everything that's coming in from food. And your body needs that stomach acid and those resources to properly break down proteins and fats and the things you're ingesting. So when food isn't broken down the way that it should be, and if you interfere with that, you throw lemon in and you're trying to get the benefits right then, not only are you not getting the full benefits of lemon water, but you could also be altering digestion. Your whole digestive system could be, disrupted, broken down a little bit, maybe strained a bit, and it's just extra stress on your liver as well. Because your liver's main job is keeping up with breaking down those fats, breaking down those nutrients, breaking down those toxins, and they won't be as clearly as they could be. So just make sure you're drinking lemon water at the right time to help your body and help your liver instead of interfere with the processes that it already has to do. The best window is on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Do it at least 30 to 60 minutes before a meal. That way your liver gets the vitamin C, the antioxidants, the natural compounds without interference. And it can focus on detoxing, fat metabolism, and it's all of its other jobs outside of digesting food. Another bad time is right before bed if you have acid reflux or any kind of digestive issues. If acidity triggers heartburn, especially when you lay down, this can be a problem. And your liver does much of its repair work overnight. So you can interfere with that repair process a bit. Personally, I have no issues drinking lemon water late in the day, and I can have lemon water, before bed. But for some people, you just need to be aware of it. It could be a mistake adding it in right then. Just have it after dinner, kind of in between dinner and bedtime if you're having it later. Now, number 4, I can sympathize sympathize with this next mistake, but you squeeze your lemon, you take a sip, and it's just tart. Like sometimes my kids will try it and they're like, woo! You reach for a packet then, or a spoonful of something to add to it to kind of sweeten it, to fix the taste, a la lemonade. But that's the moment the liver benefits start slipping away. And here's why. Any sort of sugar tells your body to store fat. You're instantly out of fat burning mode. And then the liver is where a lot of that fat ends up being stored. And if you're fighting fatty liver, sweetening your lemon water pushes you in the complete wrong direction. The 0-calorie stuff isn't any better. Low calorie, light, any of those types of things, many artificial sweeteners are handled by your liver and are one of the worst substances for your liver. You can check out my video on sucralose. I will post that below. If you have not seen it, you will be shocked at what happens to your liver cells when you put the artificial sweetener of sucralose inside your body. So these things add to the toxic load that your liver is already under and is trying to reduce. Another to be aware of is agave or any kind of fruit juice concentrate. They're also anti-liver. They're heavy in fructose. Fructose is a sugar only processed in the liver. So consuming heavy fructose foods is like asking the liver to work overtime. Like, oh, one more pile of stuff for you to do today. It drives more fat into the liver. So agave, I don't love. It's heavily genetically modified and it's really high, like 90% fructose. Now, honey, on the other hand, is something else other people try to put in, but it's 43% fructose. I do like honey. I do like its properties. I love it when it's local. It does have benefits. It really helps with teas and things of that nature. But if you're trying to heal your liver, it's one that we need to cut out for a period of time. You can enjoy it after your liver is healed, after the weight is off. So don't try to turn your lemon water into lemonade with sugar or diet packs or agave or a juice concentrate or honey. If you want a touch of sweet, you just can't get it down unless you have a little bit of sweet, then try something that's going to work with your liver and not against it. Try sticking to pure stevia. I like organic versions. Pure monk fruit. I like organic versions. Those are going to be safer bets. But skip the sugar and the artificial sweeteners, especially while you're trying to fix fatty liver. Finally, one of the most common mistakes that I see is treating lemon water like a quick fix. You drink it here and there, or maybe you try it for a week and then you stop when you don't feel a miracle. But that's not how it works. Your liver is getting hit every single day. Sugar, especially fructose, processed foods and chemicals, environmental toxins. If lemon water is only occasional, you're leaving your liver unprotected most of the time. The compounds in lemons, the vitamin C, the antioxidants, the oils from the peels, don't work like a one-time cleanse. They build up their effect when you give them to your body consistently. Research shows measurable improvements in liver fat and damage markers after 2 weeks of steady use. And the benefits keep compounding. At 12 weeks, the changes are even more dramatic, but only if you stick with it. So use lemon water consistent if you want your liver to actually heal and burn off fat instead of storing it. This has to become a daily habit, not a once in a while drink. Now, not for the rest of your life, but at least till your liver is healed and the weight has reduced. Make it a part of your morning routine. Give your liver a steady level of support that it desperately needs. If you are drinking coffee the way most people do, you're actually shutting down fat burning without even realizing it. The wrong timing, the wrong amount, or even just a teaspoon of the wrong ingredient can completely cancel out coffee's benefits and quietly pack fat back on. But when you fix those mistakes and start drinking it the right way, coffee stops being just a morning habit and becomes one of the most powerful fat loss tools that you have. In fact, research shows it can ramp up fat burning by nearly 30%. And with one simple upgrade, you can even multiply your results as much as 6 times. I'll drink to that. But before we get into the upgrades, you have to get the basics right, and that starts with the amount. Research shows that each cup of coffee that you add gives your body a bigger boost in fat burning. It works like a ladder. On the first rung, 1 cup, it only moves the needle by about 10%. Step up to 2 cups a day, and you're around 20% benefit and boost in your metabolism and fat burning. 3 cups hits about 25%, and then things peak at 4 cups. It pushes fat burning up to roughly 30%. Here's the catch. That's where the ladder ends. Past 4 cups, benefits flatten out. And the side effects can be jitters, poor sleep, high blood pressure. Those things can start climbing fast. So what's the sweet spot spot. If you want maximum fat burning without paying the price, aim for about 200 to 450 milligrams of caffeine a day. That's roughly 2 to 4 cups of coffee. That's the range where it works with your body, not against it. Note that when I say 2 to 4 cups, not one that takes 2 hands to hold it up. I'm talking about standard 8-ounce cups, about the size of a small diner coffee or 2/3 of a soda can. Most people pour 12 to 16 ounces, not even realizing it and counting that as a cup, which means your 1 cup could actually count as 2. So when you're filling up a big travel mug in the morning, you might already be halfway to your fat burning ceiling even before lunchtime. Now, there's another catch that nobody tells you. Your body adapts to coffee. That first cup on day 1 might spike your fat burning by nearly 30%, but keep pounding it every morning, and within a couple of weeks, that same cup may only give you 10% boost or a 10% edge. Now, fortunately, there are some steps that you can do to prevent your body from adapting. If you're like me, I don't mind it. I like that I get an extra boost. I just enjoy my coffee. But if you are using it for fat boosting, you can cycle your intake. Even a short reset works. In one study, people who cut out coffee for just 4 days regained that full fat burning response when they reintroduced it. So consider cycling off a day once every 2 weeks to maintain more of the fat burning effect. 2, you can save it for your workouts. I do like to do this on the weekends when I do a workout. So instead of sipping all day, use coffee strategically, especially before exercise, when it significantly multiplies the fat burning effect. We're going to go deeper on this in a moment. 3, though, adjust your dose smartly. So if you're a habitual drinker, your body might need the higher end of the range to get the best results. That's 1.8 milligrams of caffeine per pound of body weight. So for a 150-pound person, that's 270 to 240 milligrams, 2.5 to 4 cups. Again, any more than that, and the risks just start outweighing the rewards. So just know your upper limit based on your size. It's somewhere between that 2 and 4 cups. Next, coffee doesn't work the same at all hours of the day. So I'm gonna explain why, but before I do, please take a second to like this video. Doing so helps a lot more people discover this information so then they can start getting better results too. All right, here's the part most people get wrong. The timing of your coffee can make or break its fat burning power. Drink at the wrong time and you can waste the benefits or even cancel them altogether. Let me show you how this actually works. When you drink coffee, caffeine signals your fat cells to start releasing stored fat into the bloodstream. So on paper, that sounds amazing. In one study, they found that just drinking coffee fasted before eating, before moving, boosted fat release by as much as 44%. Here's the catch. Almost 3/4 of that fat never got burned. It was pulled out of storage only to get tucked right back in again. So yes, the fat gets mobilized, but without the right timing, it just gets stored again. This is why exercise changes everything. When your muscles start demanding more fuel, the fat your coffee freed up actually gets burned off. And that's when you see the big numbers. Research shows that pairing coffee with exercise raises fat burning by roughly 25 to 30% compared to people that just exercise alone without it. Now, here's the surprising part. It doesn't really matter if you're a morning exerciser or an afternoon exerciser. Now, if you work out in the morning, note that it has to be before breakfast in order to maximize the results. You want to get the coffee and the workout in before you eat that meal. That fasted state amplifies the effect, pushes fat burning to the higher end of that range. But later in the day, it will work just as well even after you've eaten a meal. Coffee before afternoon exercise still produces nearly the same boost as the fasted exercise does in the morning. In other words, the ceiling seems to be about 30% fat burning advantage, and you can reach it either way. Now, that's the upside of timing, but there's a downside too, and it can quietly sabotage your results. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 9 hours in your body, which means it hangs around in your system a lot longer than a lot of people give it credit, because the buzz kind of wears off, but it's still in your body 5 to 9 hours. And studies show that the caffeine from just 2 small cups of coffee taken 3 hours before bed is enough to shift people's internal clocks by about 40 minutes. Now, 40 minutes might not sound like much, but that shift is equivalent of flying across the time zone. Do it night after night, and then your body starts running on the wrong schedule. And when your body clock is off, the first thing to suffer is deep sleep, which is the stage when your body does its most powerful natural fat burning. So instead of accelerating fat loss, that late coffee quietly steals one of your best fat burning windows. So be careful drinking your coffee too late in the day. Next, how you prepare coffee can be the difference between multiplying fat loss results up to 6 times or wiping them out completely. And it all starts with the little things people add without even thinking. Sugar is the biggest offender. Harvard researchers followed nearly 150,000 people and found that adding just a single teaspoon of sugar to coffee each day was enough to cause steady long-term weight. 1 teaspoon of sugar. So it doesn't take a full sugar bomb frappuccino to ruin the benefits. Even the small spoonful that you stir in at breakfast shifts your coffee from fat burning to fat storing. Artificial sweeteners don't solve the problem either. Sucralose, the sugar-free option in so many different creamers, has been shown to disrupt gut bacteria, confuse insulin signaling, and drive more cravings later in the day. I actually did a whole video explaining why sucralose is one of the most dangerous common health ingredients out there. If you want to check that video out, like hundreds of thousands of other people, and learn more, I'll include a link to it in the description below. So if you can't use sugar or most artificial sweeteners, what do you put in your cup of coffee instead? Obviously, drinking your coffee black is a great option, but if you need some sweetness, consider using natural options like monk fruit or stevia. Unlike sugar, they don't spike blood sugar or insulin as much. And unlike artificial sweeteners, they don't disrupt gut health or drive more cravings because there's no chemicals. I actually use monk fruit for one of my sweeteners in my collagen blend, and I add that to my coffee some days and blend it in with butter and coconut oil. It is a delicious latte. And it keeps things flavorful without spiking blood sugar levels. And then here's the bonus. Collagen itself also has its own fat loss benefits. In a recent clinical trial, people taking collagen every day lost about 6.5 pounds over the course of a study, while the group without the collagen each day lost about 3 pounds. Not because collagen speeds up fat burning directly, but because it swells in the stomach and it makes you feel more full. So there's a lot of days I'll just have protein in my coffee. I call it coffee. You can check that video out as well. And it helps you eat less overall. And it helps me feel full up. I don't even need a breakfast. And it has a multivitamin in it, so I'm getting my nutrients as well. So in other words, the right collagen can indirectly double your fat loss simply by curbing appetite and reducing snacking for the rest of the day, and might allow you to actually skip breakfast. So I use it as an intermittent fasting tool. Now, in addition to collagen, there's an even stronger fat loss upgrade for your daily coffee, one that doesn't just protect fat burning, but it amplifies it. It's called moringa, also known as the miracle tree. I love moringa. It's one of the most incredible herbs. Clinical trials using moringa and moringa-based blends found that people lost anywhere from twice as much weight all the way up to 6 times more than placebo groups, even when diet and exercise were the same between the groups. In fact, it's so powerful that I started blending moringa right into my own brand of coffee, because if I'm using coffee as a fat loss tool and it's allowing me to just get nutrients in the morning and skip breakfast and do some fasting, I want every cup working as hard as I can for me. And coffee is one of the main antioxidants that Americans and people around the world get. Moringa is arguably the world's most powerful antioxidant. So this adds an extra layer of anti-aging and helping the body to stay healthy and strong and fight oxidative stress throughout the day. And I also made sure that the coffee was done the right way. Organic, shade grown, lab tested. That way I know I'm not just getting more fat burning power, but I'm avoiding pesticides and molds and additives that oftentimes sneak into low quality coffee. So if you'd like to try it out yourself, I'll include a link below for it. You can't taste the moringa in there. We've got whole bean and ground, but it's just the cup that I try. So if you want to try it along with the collagen, you can put these same tools to work in your routine every single day. Together, that's what helps me, and I know it can help a lot of other people, maximize the fat burning potential in every delicious cup. You might not be able to eat, but you can drink 15 intermittent fasting drinks with massive benefits. Here's my favorite 15. I do this almost every single day. There's some dirty fasting in here. I'm gonna explain what that is. Number 15 is my absolute favorite, of course, but we're gonna go through, break these down. I'm gonna give you the science behind it. Let's go, 15 drinks. Number 1, out of the gates, very obvious, but water. Drinking water, absolutely essential for regulating your body's temperature, keeping the joints lubricated, preventing infections, delivering nutrients into the cells, and then just keeping your organs functioning properly. Water, half your body weight in ounces per day. When you're hungry and you're fasting, put water in. A lot of times it'll go away. You're actually not hungry, you're more thirsty. You will be a little bit hungry with fasting, but absolutely essential that you get a lot of this in. Which rolls right into number 2. To enjoy that flavor a little bit more, do infused water. You can absolutely get a container that infuses it for you, or just throw a bunch of cucumbers in the water the night before. That's one of my favorites. A lot of benefits with those. You get a little bit of extra weight benefits, and your sleep quality let alone enhance the body's flushing and detoxification effects of intermittent fasting. Number 3, mineral water. The big knock on fasting is that as you lower your insulin levels down and you don't eat, you also have to make up some ground with all the minerals in your body, balancing the fluid of your blood, let alone supporting your detoxifiers, liver, kidneys, and so you lose a lot of minerals. Putting minerals back in and finding ways to put them in are important. Mineral water could add to those electrolytes. More on that in a little bit. Sparkling water. A study showed that 18 postmenopausal women that drank a sodium-rich carbonated water decreased their inflammation markers, lowered their LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, and their blood sugar, while simultaneously enhancing their HDL, their good cholesterol. Also, those that drank carbonated water had an estimated 35% lower risk of developing heart disease within the next 10 years. I don't think you should overdo it. You want to make sure that it's clean. One of my favorites is Spindrift. You want to make sure you know where the natural flavors come from, if those are in there. No other additives, but sparkling water to keep you from eating might be the way to get you through, just to quench that little urge you might have. Number 5, one of my favorites, coffee. That's my mug for the day, extra sized of it. Organic coffee, no pesticides, ton of health benefits. Increases your metabolic rate, speaking of fasting, 3 to 11%. That means you're burning more fat, especially if you don't put in the additives or the sugars or everything else that we end up putting in our coffee. Studies also show drinking coffee can reduce your risk of diabetes from anywhere from 23 all the way up to 50%. But when you are fasting, this may be the way to go. It really helps curb the appetite, it flushes out the digestive system, it has those protective benefits, and it will make you feel a bit more full. My favorite, the one I'm drinking today, is a DLG coffee, where I go a little bit of dirty fasting this morning at the time of recording this for you. Coffee, healthy fat, coconut oil, healthy fat, butter, and then I do a little bit of collagen in there. I'm gonna talk about those other additives, but this latte mix, brain fuel, fat burning drink is going to help me not have to eat until tonight. And so I might as well do that, even if it's a little bit of dirty fasting and I don't get the full cleanup autophagy effect of doing a pure water fast. I'm still in very low sugar, fat burning mode. Coffee. Speaking of coffee, let's talk cream. If you have a full fat cream, a half and half, I'm not gonna beat you up over doing that. The hardcore autophagy intermittent fasters will, but put a little bit of cream in there. I would stay away from milk. As you start to drift into whole milk, 2%, 1%, skim, you're adding in a lot of sugar. So you're gonna get that insulin spike, which is really gonna work against your fat burning. Also, I would probably avoid almonds, almond milks, even a cashew milk, just because those tend to be heavily processed, especially almonds, to get that nut to a milk form. You're gonna end up running into a lot of potential sugars, potential additives, and some of you have sensitivities to those nuts to begin with, so drinking and eating a lot of them can surge that sensitivity a little bit. Coconut, especially the full fat coconut milk, would be an option for you as well. Number 7, if you're not a coffee lover, you could go tea. Green tea, black tea is gonna have that caffeine benefit. Also fat burning, especially green tea. A lot of research on its enhancement of burning fat in your body, which is why a lot of people are doing intermittent fasting. And you may find another herbal tea that you like as well. If that suffices, kind of quenches the urge of wanting to eat or getting through the fasting or just making you not really think about food, it makes the fasting a bit more enjoyable. At least for me it does. So herbal teas, black teas, or the weight loss enhancing green tea. Just don't add any sugars or other additives to it. Number 8, you down with ACV? Yeah, you know me. ACV diluted in water. 1 to 2 tablespoons of this mixed into water can be as effective as a diabetes drug, shows some studies. So it's going to lower the insulin level. It's going to put you into fat burning mode. It's also going to help keep you hydrated, and it prevents cravings. Now, doing that every single day, multiple times a day, probably don't recommend that long term, but if you're in a period of time where you're wanting to reset, or maybe a month or two, you're going pretty hardcore at this, or as a rebound from maybe a weekend where you were off the fasting and you were feasting, putting in some apple cider vinegar, getting that insulin back under control and swinging you back the other direction, ACV. Number 9. Now this is a dirty fasting concept. Dirty fasting just refers to that you might be taking in a few calories, but you're still keeping it really low and you're not putting in sugar. So healthy fats. Yes, you can drink those. As I just said, in my coffee, I have an MCT oil. This is just in the form of coconut oil, but those medium chain triglycerides are incredibly fat burning and they fuel the brain. They also fuel ketone production in your body. You could use ghee, which would be a reduced form of butter. Straight up coconut oil, straight up butter I like to use, and mix it in. And what it does is it creates a creaminess for my coffee in the form of a latte. So just makes it a lot more enjoyable. Oils technically break a hardcore fast, but they don't put you or break the ketosis factor. So just putting in fat, you're staying in fat burning mode. If you want to burn fat, you got to eat fat, right? And you can hold yourself over in between meals longer by using that. So if you have to go that route, I'm all for it from a doctor's position to keep you in fasting, to keep you from more feasting and over consuming. Add some healthy fats in, makes it a bit more delicious, and you're getting a lot of benefits, fat burning mode and brain wise. Number 10, bone broth. Bone broth can be purchased. You got to watch just regular broth. That's fine, but you're not going to get as much benefit as if you made your own. I have videos on this channel about making your own or on drlivinggood.com. And you can steep the nutrients, the minerals, the salts, and the collagen and the benefits out of the bone marrow of specific bones. So from animals, you get them from the butcher, you steep it, you can add in your favorite flavorings, but this is a good way to replenish nutrients while fasting, replenish electrolytes while fasting. We're going to talk more about that. And you can last longer periods of time in your fasting window when you're only, focused on drinking water primarily. That might be a liquid that just might suffice to say, you know what, I'm able to go an extra long period of time that way. So bone broth, make your own, add it in, ton of benefits to it. Number 11, you might not be drinking a lot of, but I put in fish oil. And I think this is so important because inflammation is a massive, massive problem. And while you're lowering insulin, why not take care of its other I counterpart, which is inflammation? Putting in fish oil is a great way to enhance EPA, DHA, and the omega-3 fighters that lower inflammation in your body. So then not only are you losing the weight, but you are enhancing your joints. And there's very few calories involved with it. There's no digestible carbs that need to be taken in. So I stay on my supplementation such as vitamin D and omegas while I'm fasting so I can keep my immune system up. It doesn't compromise my insulin and my fat burning mode, and I can address inflammation all at once. Fish oil, add it in. Number 12, collagen. You lose it as you age. It protects your joints. It builds the connective tissue in your body. It repairs your gut. What better time to be in repairing mode when you don't have a lot of other food competing? When the digestive system is relatively calm, put in the healing agent of collagen to help repair it, and it helps a lot of autoimmune related issues. So a good time to add this in. Pure collagen might throw you out of autophagy, but it will not alter your ketosis. You'll stay in fat burning mode. So I add it right to my coffee. You could do unflavored. Mine is sweetened with monk fruit, which is going to have very minimal impact on that insulin. It's all about staying in that fat burning mode. Again, it's a bit of dirty fasting, but when you have a longer window of not eating, the benefits outweigh any negatives. Number 13, let's flip it on its head for lucky number 13. What can't you have? There's no sodas, even Zevias. Avoiding alcohol, avoiding coconut water, even though it has electrolytes in it, things increase the sugar levels that you're taking in. So I would avoid those drinks, Gatorades, any kind of bottled drink in that regard. Avoiding those, it's just all about spiking your insulin levels. Fats don't do it, coffee doesn't do it, broth doesn't do it, tea doesn't do it. As long as you're avoiding anything with that spiking of insulin, you're gonna stay in a fat burning mode, which is one of the primary goals of intermittent fasting.
So something to potentially add in, you do want to avoid juices. Most every juice is going to be very hard on the carbohydrates unless it's a really not fun tasting green juice. That's still going to be adding 7 to 10 grams of carbs. So avoiding those. You may try a greens powder, potentially will be okay. I do that while I'm fasting just to get nutrients in, to keep myself from any kind of deprivation. I add in a scoop of it, usually sweetened with monk fruit, to keep the nutrients in, to get a lot of vegetables when I'm going a longer period of time without eating. But most of the time you're avoiding other juices, maybe some celery juice in the morning if you wanted to. We just don't want to get it too sugary. That's definitely going to be dirty fasting, but there is strong research out of UCLA showing that if you just do 50 calorie or less green juice all day, every day, 3 days in a row, if you stayed below that point, you would get some massive immune system benefits and still experience autophagy. Number 15. This one might be the most important piece. I believe it's an absolute must if you are fasting: electrolytes. Electrolytes have to go in. We can't get it through Gatorade, too much sugar. We don't want to be doing diet products and other additives coming in, so we need to get electrolytes in. Salt is one way to do it. You can add it to your water. And the reason it's so important is when you are in a fasting state, most people's body enter into that ketosis. You're really burning off the fat. During that transition, the body flushes a lot of fluids and electrolytes from the system as it metabolizes the sugar that's been stored up in your liver and your muscles. So as that transition is happening, there's a big shift of the amount of insulin in the blood going down. Minerals start flushing into your blood vessels, and there's a lot of burning of excess sugar that's been stored inside of your body. Electrolytes have to balance all of that out. So it's an absolute must to get them in. If you're experiencing coldness while fasting, if you're experiencing any kind of cramping, sleep disruption, you gotta get electrolytes in. I think it's an absolute must for anyone going through intermittent fasting. I put the electrolytes I use from a quality sea salt to be putting them in that still taste good and aren't gonna spike your insulin levels because they're sweetened with either a monk fruit or a stevia. Those are in the description. So make sure you're using electrolytes. 15 drinks that you can be getting in order to enhance your fasting experience, get you through for a few more hours, keeping the nutrients in without breaking you out of fat burning mode. Of course, water is the ultimate to achieve autophagy, which is the cleanup and recycling system of the body. But applaud you for doing the fasting. You can do it, and those 15 drinks will help you through it.
All right, if you want even more of my best fat loss tip habits that move the needle quickly, then don't miss the next video. It's the exact routine I'd follow if I had to lose 30 pounds fast. It's helped over 1 million people already, and it'll give you the structure to put everything into motion. I'll include a link to that video here. Click it to watch it next, and I'll see you there.